Dozens of firefighters have gathered today to protest against the potential closure of 8 fire stations across Dorset and Wiltshire.
The fire service says it's facing significant financial challenges and is asking the public for their views in a consultation.
Hamworthy Station is one that could close. Richard Slee is there for us tonight. Richard, there is concern these closures could impact people's safety.
Yeah, well, of course, it is called the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service. And considering the very wet weather we've had recently, a lot of firefighters have been helping people deal with the floodwater. Now, here at Hamworthy, there are 12 on-call firefighters who are typically called out once every 2 days. But if these stations are closed, that would represent a saving from this station alone of just £230,000 a year. However, as estimated, that response times would increase slightly, and of course it would mean extra pressure on nearby fire stations such as Poole. Well, speaking earlier today, while there was a protest going on outside the meeting, the Chief Fire Officer said the need for these cost savings are due to circumstances outside of his control.
So this is financially driven. So following continuous underfunding from successive governments, and despite us saving over £15 million from our revenue budget year on year since combination of Dorset and Wiltshire, which in itself was financially driven in 2016, and despite us being judged by independent inspectors and auditors as representing good value and being an efficient organisation, we still see our funding gap continuing to grow. We still see a deficit that we need to address, and by closing fire stations, that will incur risk, that will increase some risk to communities, but it's the only way that we can address that deficit by increasing the risk the smallest amount possible.
Well, there are of those 8 fire stations under threat, 3 are from the Meridian region. The other 2 are at Wilton in Salisbury and Cranbourne in Wimborne. Well, with me now is Janine from the Fire Brigades Union. Janine, what is the reaction to this situation from the union?
So the union are strongly opposing these closures. We feel that less fire engines, less fire stations. It's going to mean longer response times for our communities, and that we feel that's going to be a real threat to the public.
But when you look at how often some of these fire stations are in action, Cranbourne, for example, how can that cost be justified?
So just because a resource isn't used every day doesn't mean that resource isn't needed. I think it's hard to sort of say whether you should get rid of something, but also how much would it be to save a life?
Janine, thank you for talking to us. Well, the consultation begins on Friday. It lasts for 3 months. There will be public meetings during that time, and the decision is made at the end of June.
Richard and Hamworthy, thank you.